Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Sister-in-law thinks I'm going to give her my baby. Post by Candid Nose 9809. I, 26 female, gave birth to my baby boy last month. We waited a few weeks before inviting some family over to see him. My sister-in-law was fawning all over him and doting on him, but when I went to feed him, she almost didn't want to give him to me and was trying to give me pointers and such. I thanked her, but told her I had it. She got offended and said, "Oh, someone who didn't even want kids has it under control." It's true. My husband and I were holding off on having kids for about 2 years because we weren't sure we were ready and wanted to wait. Well, we got pregnant and decided to be parents. I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Well, I was thinking, since I've been trying a little longer than you, and you weren't even all that sure, maybe I can take him off your hands." I called her crazy and told her to get out. I was shocked and disgusted that she said that, and my husband talked to her and asked why would she even think that. She said it's not fair that she's been trying for 3 years, and we didn't even want our son, and we got pregnant. He told her to never say that again, especially around our son. Mother-in-law said she was just kidding, and I'm like, who jokes about something like that? Edit. I talked to my husband about getting cameras and changing the locks, and he said if that's what will make me comfortable, then he'll get on it tomorrow. She will not be around my son alone for a while. I'm taking this very seriously. As you should. I've heard some really scary stories about the lengths some people will go to steal someone else's baby. Desperate people are nuts. And good on your husband. He's like, this will make you feel more safe? I'm on it. What a lad. And I found another one. Entitled Sister-in-law wants custody of my baby. Post by Angel698. Background. I'm 36 and my sister-in-law is 40. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years, and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She's always felt like I had the life she wanted. Not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, family, job stability, etc. I have 3 kids, 10 female, 8 male, and a 3-month-old baby girl. She got married last year, and they decided to start trying for a baby. But unfortunately, she was told that she can't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated, and the family comforted her as best as we could. We recently had a family dinner, and in the middle of it, she says, "OP, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids, and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child, so I think you should give her to me during the week so I can create a motherly bond with her, and you can have her on the weekends." Before I could respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once. So I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking what the hell was wrong with her, and why would she even think to ask that? She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcome at our house or around our children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children, and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and mother-in-law kept apologizing and dragged her out of the house, still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. Edit. We have a security system and cameras already installed, and no one has keys to our house. I won't be getting a restraining order as this one incident isn't enough to justify it. My husband and I have already spoken to the older kids about it and explained that sister-in-law is no longer a safe person. Our country doesn't have the right to bear arms, and have no interest in getting a gun anyway. I'll be informing the school and daycare of the issue, and giving them a photo of her. Update. So, my sister-in-law has been admitted to a psychiatric facility. In the comments of my previous post, I mentioned that her husband was seeking counselling for them to deal with the infertility prior to this incident. After the incident, he sought out a psychiatrist rather than a counsellor, and they had their first session last week. I didn't get the specifics of what happened, but basically, she made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. My brother-in-law has been nothing but apologetic through this entire ordeal, and has kept her away from us since the incident. Mother-in-law was staying with them to keep an eye on sister-in-law. She tried to leave the house in the middle of the night to see her baby. Also, brother-in-law found her researching how to induce lactation. She said it was to make sure she can feed the baby properly when I came to my senses and gave her up. Apparently seeing me breastfeed is what triggered the entire episode. It was the first time sister-in-law was around a baby for any length of time, and she was holding the baby when she got fussy because she was hungry. Naturally, I took her to feed her, and this made sister-in-law feel inadequate, because it triggered the thought that she would never be able to do that, which led to the events of the last post. We won't be moving, as it's not feasible for us at the moment, but we have taken extra steps with security, both at home and at the kids' school/daycare. This whole thing is taking a toll on the family, but mother-in-law, father-in-law and brother-in-law are taking care of sister-in-law, and my husband and I are focused on ensuring the safety of our immediate family and minimizing the impacts on the kids as much as we can. Update 2. I haven't seen sister-in-law since the incident happened, and I also blocked her on all my socials. My in-laws have been amazing through this entire situation and haven't shared any information about our family with her. Unfortunately, she still remains fixated on my baby. She tried to find out where the daycare is and even threatened to hurt herself if my in-laws didn't tell her. This led to another stint in the psych ward. She wrote me a letter, begging me to be fair and let her see her baby. We didn't actually receive the letter though. My mother-in-law read it and just gave us the gist of it. Sister-in-law's husband is working with her psychiatrist to see how best she can be helped. He said he doesn't know how long he can deal with this, but he's giving it 6 months. It's a very sad situation, and I hope she can deal with whatever's happening. At this point, we're completely no contact with her. We've explained to our older kids that their aunt isn't well, so she won't be around anymore. We still see mother-in-law and father-in-law regularly, and I'm so grateful we didn't have to cut them off. We're still on alert in case she escalates, but the hospital where she's warded isn't anywhere near us, and they don't live near us either. So we've accepted this is our new reality, and we're operating accordingly. Am I the a-hole for trying to convince my wife to keep her mum away from us because she wants to swap our kids with her other daughter? Post by Not Gonna Swap. Twins run in both our families. We actually met at a twin festival in Ohio. My brother and I didn't marry twin sisters, or even sisters from the same family. But my wife does have a twin, and her sister had twins, as did we. We have twin boys that are about 6 months older than their female cousins. This makes for some very cute photos. My mother-in-law might be insane. She's trying to convince her daughters to trade, like a boy for a girl. So each girl can have a brother, I guess? I think this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. My wife also agrees, but won't tell her mum to drop it. My sister-in-law and her husband are on my side. It isn't something any of us are entertaining. At first, I thought she was just trying to make a joke. No such luck. She is seriously proposing this. The thing that might make me the a-hole isn't turning down this whack job. It's telling my wife that it might be a good idea to distance ourselves from her mother. But my wife loves her mum and her quirks. She says it's just the way she is. But I don't want my kids around someone so unstable that they think this is a normal thing to suggest. Edit. I need to make it clear that I did tell my mother-in-law that this wasn't going to happen and to stop bringing it up. The problem is, my wife won't back me up on this. Entitled Mum Feels Cheated Out of Her Inheritance. Post by BuckDaddy420. A little backstory. I came from a highly dysfunctional family and tried to spend as much time away from them as possible. In 3rd grade, 9-10 years old, I met a set of twins that would become lifelong friends and their family a second to my own. At the head of their family was their grandfather. He was an extremely rough around the edges, noble given or taken, my way or the highway kind of guy. And the fact that he was half Mexican and half Metzlicaro Apache didn't help. Every one of us boys at the house were scared to death of him, and no one wanted to go out of town with him to work. When I was 21, I helped him on a job outside Fort Worth, and during this time, we bonded. I called him Pop, and he called me Son. A couple of months after we started the Fort Worth job, Pop received a call that his aunt had passed away. We stayed up having a few drinks, and he told me stories about her till the rooster crowed. He described her to me in the same manner that us boys would describe him to others. Now, this woman would drink a 5th of bourbon, smoke 5 cigars a day till the day she died, but she made it to nearly 100 before she croaked. During the last 20 or so years of her life, the majority of her family had absolutely nothing to do with her, with the exception of one grandson. She'd also amassed a nice little spread outside of Waco, having a 100+ acre ranch, a large farmhouse, and a 7-figure bank account. Pop decided that we should attend the funeral. A few days later, we found ourselves in a small funeral parlor in the town of Waco. The funeral was going as all funerals go, with some people sobbing, others binge drinking, and most of the kids looking bored AF. As Pop and I are sitting quietly, minding our own business, we hear this increasingly louder conversation behind us. Enter the cast. Entitled Mum, Grandson's Mum. Entitled Family, 1, 2, and 3, the other daughters, and the good grandson. Entitled Family 1, really? Everything? What do you mean everything? Entitled Mum, that's what the lawyer said. Entitled Family 2, she can't do this to us, can she? Entitled Family 3, there's got to be something we can do about this. It's his fault she died. If he hadn't provided her with the whiskey and cigars all those years, she'd still be alive. Entitled Mum, don't worry, here's my son. He'll do whatever I say. We'll sell everything and split it evenly between just the 4 of us. It was at this point that Pops caught on to what was being discussed, as I'm sure everyone around us had, and him, not being a man to hold his tongue, lost it. And when something like this, "Y'all need to shut y'all's asses," he loved to say that. This woman lived to be nearly 100 years old, and you're gonna try and say that he killed her? Over what? Money? If you cared so much about her, where were y'all the last 20 years of her life? He didn't do it for the money, he did it because it was his grandma, and it was the right thing to do. Before they could regain their composure, good grandson came up, looked his mum in the eye, and said, "Goodbye, Mum. This is the last time any of y'all will ever see me again," and simply walked out the door. The last I heard about any of it, good grandson was enjoying his life out on the ranch and refused to have any contact with his immediate family. I spent about another 6 months travelling with Pops, working construction and learning masonry. He passed away about 7 to 8 years back. I miss that man. Even if no one reads this, it felt really nice talking about Pop. Down in the comments, DCJ53 says, "I was my mum's sole beneficiary. It wasn't a lot of money, however, my plan was to split it equally. They ended up getting very ugly about things. My mum made me her only beneficiary because I'm now disabled, and I lost her check as part of our household income, so she knew I need it. My 3 siblings were all making over $100K US a year in their families, so when they got ugly, I told them I was done. I'd do exactly what my mum intended me to do. I'd use it for my own household, which was just me and my daughter. Then we moved across the country to get away from them all." Yeah, it's gross how people would just abandon and ignore their old relatives, but when they die, they'll fight over their assets like vultures. If you liked this video, please let me know, and subscribe for more juicy tea.